September 14th, 2025. Dear European citizens, freedom is not the privilege of an isolated individual. A hermit in the Himalayas may breathe air without restraint, but true freedom only flourishes within society. And society itself begins not with mere coexistence, but with empathy, with the capacity of one human being to recognize the dignity of another. Yet empathy cannot survive without trust. Trust is the invisible fabric that binds citizens together, sustains justice, and makes cooperation possible. Without trust, no education can enlighten us, no democracy can protect us, and no nation can endure. One of the highest purposes of education in a truly free Europe must be to cultivate this mutual trust, teaching every citizen both to rely upon and to safeguard the trust of others. That means recognizing threats wherever they arise, even when those threats come not from foreign invaders but from colonial structures implanted within our own union. Today, that fabric of trust has been systematically shredded. The governments of Europe, acting as subordinates of external powers, have allowed settler colonial interests to dominate our institutions, our economies, and even our conscience. By betraying their own citizens, they have turned education into indoctrination, law into coercion, and politics into puppetry. And when trust is destroyed, oppression follows. We see it in the silencing of dissent, in the persecution of voices calling for truth, in the targeting, even the assassination of innocent political dissidents and anti-colonial activists. This is not simply a crisis of governance. It is a crisis of survival, for truth, for justice, and for every dissident who dares to speak out. Therefore, if we are to rescue those brave men and women who now stand in peril, we must link their survival to the rebirth of Europe itself. Their safety depends on Europe that chooses freedom over subjugation, empathy over indifference, trust over fear. Let us then declare, the liberation of Europe is inseparable from the protection of its dissidents, for without them, without their courage to resist injustice, Europe cannot hope to rediscover its soul. The task before us is immense, to rebuild our education systems so that trust may live again, to demand accountability from governments that have betrayed us, and to defend with unyielding solidarity the lives of those who refuse to bow to colonial masters. If we succeed, Europe will rise not as colony but as a community of free citizens, bound by empathy, guided by truth, and protected by trust. And in that Europe, no dissident will ever have to fear the assassin's hand again. Christos Boumpoulis.